And there's a really hot body of water underneath clouds. Clouds are made up of tiny water drops. And when they absorb the heat, they evaporate even more than they are already. So they get even smaller. What makes rain is that those little tiny water drops start linking, they join each other. You've seen how, like in your sink, you'll have a few water drops by the side, and every once in a while, maybe you slip a little one down there, it'll touch a next one and then join in with it. That's what happens in clouds. When those water drops are too heavy to stay up in cloud formation, they fall, and that's rain. So when the water heats up underneath, or when the air is hot underneath it, it stops that joining from happening, and it makes the little raindrops in the clouds evaporate more, and then the winds keep blowing. And when clouds, there's always the effect of gravity. When a cloud is lighter, it goes up. When a cloud is heavier, gravity pulls it down, just like it pulls everything. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, most toilets, the old ones, the American standards don't have the marking, and if it doesn't have a marking, it's usually 3.5. The new ones are always marked, almost always marked. But there's also a way you can tell by measuring the inside of your tank from the water level down to the bottom, and then measuring the measurements of the sides and determining from that by displacement how much water is in there. Anybody? Yeah.
I think this is more of a comment, but I put a water bottle full of water in the tank of my toilet.
Yes.
To help conserve the amount of water that's used every time I flush it. And you can spend $15 on one of these nice little plastic bags that's specifically designed for this. But a water bottle or a Gatorade bottle that's empty, that's filled with water, dropped inside, does the same thing.
In fact, this is a situation where industry took tips from us residents people, in that they saw that a lot of us were catching on to that if we get an old milk jug and fill it halfway full of water and then stick it in the toilet tank, it will save us water in flushes. So industry took that idea and turned it into a product that they could sell.
Yeah, so there's really no reason why everyone shouldn't have a bottle of water stuffed inside the tank of their toilets. Maybe unless it's a low flow already.
Yeah, you don't want it if it's a low flow. No, because there does have to be a certain amount of flow that comes down into the pipes from the toilet in order to wash the sewage down properly. If you don't have that flow, the sewage will get stuck and it will block the pipes, and then you'll have all kinds of problems. So, Russell?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, this is for filming, so you need to put it right up by your collar.
How's that? Got it? Okay. Okay. Thank you for inviting me to speak today at Water Day. Every day of my life is Water Day. I'm a water resources specialist for the city of Santa Monica. I work in the Office of Sustainability and the Environment, and we have a sustainable city plan in Santa Monica. I'm charged with the task of reducing Santa Monica's water consumption to a sustainable level and eliminating domestic water as a source of environmental pollution. Just to touch on what Suzette was talking about in terms of what's happening in terms of our water use throughout the state. These are just some pictures that give you an idea of the reality of the drought and the reality of the water crisis. So this is the State Water Project, which is up north, Lake Oroville. This is where we used to get a lot of our water, but because of court injunctions, actually we're getting less water from up north and throughout the state. We're getting less water from different sources, and the weather isn't really cooperating. So we've got to look at where we're using most of the water. In Santa Monica, most of the water that's used is actually outdoors. About half of the water used in a typical home is outdoors. So where is that water going? Generally, into the street. So let's talk about sustainability. And what does that mean? Sustainability, the definition of sustainability is using of or relating to a method of harvesting or using a resource so that the resource is not depleted or permanently damaged. So we take that principle and we apply that to landscaping. And these are the basic ideas behind landscaping. When we talk about how do you conserve water outside, you've got to look at a landscape. It isn't just as simple as putting in a different watering device. You've got to look at the design. You've got to look at the plants that you're choosing. You've got to look at the irrigation system and then see how that affects your maintenance over the long haul. If you Google landscape maintenance, these are the types of pictures that are going to come up. There's something in common here. Chemicals, machinery, and fossil fuels. It's all interrelated. The moving towards a more sustainable landscape means addressing this idea that our landscapes are in natural concert with science and industry. That may or may not be true. We actually have an awful lot of chemicals going into our landscape. We've got chemicals that are affecting our children. And we've got chemicals that are just affecting us in general. So thinking about where do those chemicals go when it rains, where does it go when it's irrigated, those all end up in the ocean. The amount of energy it takes to transport water throughout California, 20% of our electric bill in the state of California goes to transporting water, mainly down to us here in Southern California. So there's a direct connection. When you